Welcome to our session on benefits of storytime at home. I'm Mrs. Jackson and I'm the FS Communication, Language and Literacy Leader. I hope you'll find this session very informative and maybe give you some ideas of what you can do at home to improve your storytime with your children. Reading and storytime at home can include any of the following: reading picture books with your child, oral retelling of stories, or making up your own stories together, listening to audio stories, singing or saying nursery rhymes. Physical books are a great way for showing words and allowing children to understand the concept that words have meaning. But it does not always have to be a physical book for children to gain the language and concept benefits that there are with reading. Any stories, any type of reading activity will be beneficial. Now, this is what the research has been showing. The frequency of reading to children at a young age has a direct causal effect on their schooling outcomes, regardless of family background and home environment. Reading to children at age 4 to 5 years old every day has a significant positive effect on their reading skills and cognitive skills later in life. Reading to children 3 to 5 days per week has the same effect on child's reading skills at age 4 to 5 as being 6 months older. Reading to them 6 to 7 days per week has the same effect as almost being 12 months older. That's a whole year older, just by having a story time each day. These differences in reading and cognitive skills are not always related to a family's background or home environment, but are a direct result of how frequently they have been read to prior to starting school. There has been so much research into the benefits of story times at home. We do, of course, have lots of story time at school too, but you as parents, you can help by having lots of story times and setting up routines at home. So here are some steps to help include story time in your home. If you haven't already, one of the most important elements is to start young. Your children are still quite young being in FS, so even if you haven't made this a regular part of your routine, this is a perfect time to start with them now. Make it part of your daily routine, so a typical time might be bedtime before they go to sleep to read a story together. But if this doesn't work for you and your family, there are other times that you could do it. It could be first thing in the morning. It could be listening to stories in the car on the way to school, or singing nursery rhymes together. Encourage variation, so using books, looking at stories online, doing oral story retellings, where you retell a story without a book at all and you're just remembering the story as you tell it to your child. These are all great ways of having that language enrichment for your child. And another one is to continue the discussion. So even when you finish the story or the nursery rhyme, you could ask questions or talk about it. What was your favourite part of the story? Do you like that story? Did you like the ending? Do you think the story should have ended in a different way? Those are some of the questions that will just help your child to continue thinking about the story, to build on their language skills and build on those concepts that they're learning through those stories. Here are 10 benefits of reading to your child at home. Their vocabulary is larger and more extensive. Reading books encourages the use of words that they might not hear in everyday conversations. So that's how it helps to build their vocabulary. 2, they perform better academically because of their extended concepts of varying things from the stories that they've read. Their language has been built up, their vocabulary is built up. They can perform academically in more improved and successful way. Their imagination can run wild. That goes without saying. From a story, they can have role play, they can create things from that. 4, leading on to that, their creativity skills develop. 5, they develop empathy, and this is so important. Can they relate to one of the characters in the story? Does it make them feel sad that one of the characters is feeling sad? Empathy is very important, and it is an important skill as children are younger to start to develop. 6, they gain a deeper understanding of their world. And books also open a doorway, and stories open a doorway into elements of the world that they might not have even seen or experienced yet. 7, their concentration levels improve, being able to focus on something for longer and longer periods of time, which is very important for them. 8, parent and child bonds improve. Having that story time together is so important, and it will possibly become one of the best moments of your day. I know it does for me. It's one of my favourite times of the day. 9, their cognitive development is supported, and 10, their social skills and interactions improve. And that's a very important thing right now as children are learning more about themselves, more about their friends, and more about that interaction and how to do that in a successful way. This is a question that gets brought up a lot, especially it being in an international setting. Do you have to only read stories in English? And the answer is absolutely not. Children benefit from stories in their home language as well as in English. If you want your child to develop their vocabulary, the number of words they know in English, then English books are great. Books, stories and rhymes in your child's first language is very beneficial for your child's language understanding in both that first language but also in English. Research shows that if you are a bilingual family, then reading stories in both languages is so very important. Now, sometimes we don't have access to physical books, and sometimes we don't have enough stories at home, and that's okay. Physical books are wonderful and they should be looked at quite often, but there are other options as well. So there's a couple of websites. There's the Vooks website, which is something that you get for a month free and then you pay for. It's an animated type of storybook. Then you've got Storyline Online, which has got some books that have been narrated. And then you've also got freechildrenstories.com. There are many other websites. These are just a few. Plus on YouTube, there are so many storybooks. And you can view those at your discretion. So if you type in a familiar storybook title, like The Very Hungry Caterpillar, there will be a selection of books. There often are animated stories for some of these books if they're more popular. Plus, there's very different, there'll be different videos of different people reading the story. So if you have a little bit of a look through first, find something that you think is appropriate for your child, something that they'd enjoy, you can sit and watch it together. It doesn't have to be physical books. Physical storybooks are a wonderful resource, and if you have access to them, that's fantastic. But if you don't, you can use online sites, and also don't forget, oral story retellings are fantastic, and singing and saying nursery rhymes together is also another fantastic way of building up those language skills, building the vocabulary, and helping to strengthen concepts as your child is learning about the world around them. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found some of this beneficial, and I hope it improves your story time at home with your child, and I hope you find it to be a wonderful, enjoyable pleasant experience. Thank you very much.